I think we might be live. Are we live? I have to see if I can find myself. I think so. I'm not sure. I've got so many windows that are popping up, so I'm hoping you can hear me. Let's see. I can't. Had it all working absolutely perfectly a moment ago, and I even saw Shannon was in the waiting room, so that was a good start. And now, oh yeah, there we are. Welcome to Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Now it's Tuesday night, not Monday night. So thanks for all tuning in and keeping up with the changes we're making just to see what's working for everybody. I need to find Shannon's link, but I'll get to that in a moment. He was in the waiting room and I did see him queued up, and now I'm having trouble finding that. So I'm going to get started, and while I'm talking, I'll work out the new technology. It's a challenge every week for us. So this is a new platform, and my groovy background, thanks to the team who do all our graphics and our tech support. Not sure where we'd be without you. So quick overview of what we're going to go through tonight. Shannon Taylor is in my waiting room, and I'll run through my questions, and then we'll talk to lovely Shannon about his next project and I guess inspirational journey, and just a little bit about where he's at the moment. So I'm pretty excited about our first shared experience in the live BN Multi Wow and Australian Weight Loss Surgery podcast group. I am seriously hoping I can find where it will let me access the waiting room. No. So today, here's the first question. And I think a few of you in this situation where you're working either shift work or different jobs that throw your routine down the toilet. So sleep, if you're a shift worker or you're not sleeping at regular times, or you just find it really hard to maintain a food routine during your work week. Rebecca's asked a bit about, she's a FIFO, fly in, fly out, which would be quite disruptive, I would imagine. So she's finding it hard to eat regularly and to eat the right foods. So having 3 meals and no water, only coffee. I know this is wrong, but my question is it okay to take protein bars and shakes daily? And which one would you recommend? Yeah, sometimes I recommend, if that's the absolutely only thing you've got on offer. We really do try and get you on board with pre-planning your foods and making sure that you are trying to eat food at every opportunity, rather than meal replacements and protein bars and that sort of stuff. So I, not being FIFO myself, I'm just not sure what's on offer if you're, away from home. And it may be that you find some healthy solutions that are transportable and take them with you. So yeah, I think it's certainly something that, looking at, if it's just coffee and only 3 meals and no water, it's all about organization. And I know it sounds very difficult, and I know I might be talking out of school, but at the end of the day, if your success is your end game, we have to find a way over the hurdles that we're putting in the way. So looking at how you can restructure that week's food, or even if you start with 3 meals a day, you're still eating, which is great. Some people don't eat and they just drink coffee and they don't drink water. So you're winning there. It just depends on what the food is. But with having no water and only coffee, it tells me there's coffee on offer. So there surely is water, and that's up to choices. So it's prioritizing your end game and really structuring your day and your choices around, you know, supporting your end result, which is hydration. And also, yes, supplementing with protein when you do need it, but also really having a think about, you know, what can I take with me that's portable, easy to use. So things like protein balls that you make maybe, or things that aren't just off the shelf quick options, because we're almost getting into that kind of meal replacement, or, you know, take away protein options. So you're welcome to message us and ask for some ideas, or people who are in on the group, if you can also let us maybe give us your ideas on maybe what Rebecca could offer as well, or things she could take with her. If there are any other people in the group who are listening who are FIFO and have cracked this nut of managing food on the go, please add your ideas and support your fellow teammates. And so Rebecca's got another question, which is great. In regards to the BN multis, was taking the chews, now taking the tablets, and I was told I could take the tablets at the same time, which you can if you really are missing the second dose, but we don't, if that's the only way you're going to do it, yes, do that. But ideally you spread them out throughout the day. It just gives your body that second opportunity to absorb them. So yes, my dietitian told me that since I'm on the tablets, I need to take caltrate as well, because calcium levels are different. Yes, the capsules have no calcium, so you do need to take calcium alongside. And Rebecca's just saying she has seen people who are on the chewables who are also taking calcium, and that, yes, can happen because calcium needs are dependent on your age, your sex, your family history, and your diet. So some people do take a calcium supplement alongside, but the dosage is always prescribed by their dietitian. So don't just start chucking calcium in, because it's not, if it's too much for you, it can start to show up in the other areas of your health, particularly kidney health and that sort of thing. So on forward onto that is fee. I'm not sure how if this has been covered, but nutrition for early post-surgery and working out. I just can't comprehend how 3 times 1/4 of a cup of food and no snacks, as advised by my dietitian, will support my energy requirements to include a workout. I think you're right about that. I'm only 3 weeks post-op, but I want to go to the gym. So again, this is a critical period for healing and recovery and just letting your body work out what's going on. So we do suggest walking, but I wouldn't go back to the gym just yet, because yes, you're correct, there's just not enough food to go in to support a workout, your healing, your metabolic rate, your hormonal balance, all of that sort of stuff. So that's why we call it a journey, because it's not a race, it's just a little you know, slow and steady. So this first period of you know, after surgery is really important, that you do acknowledge that you'll need a bit of rest. There's not much food going in, and generally when that's happening, there's not enough nutrition. So your supplements will make up the shortfall between your food needs and your nutrition. But yeah, you're right, with that little food going in, I would suggest, you know, walking would be suitable. Much more than that, you'll just end up tiring yourself out. It is, I think, generally recommended that exercise, or more, you know, ramping up your exercise regime, is sort of 6 to 8 weeks after surgery. So there's plenty of time. But yes, do listen to your body. And if you are only eating, you know, a cup and a half of food, it's pretty, you're right, it's a lot to ask. So if you've got questions about that, just talk with your dietitian, and there is a way we work out your energy expenditure as well. So thank you. So Tanya, nutrition and eating plans for Postsleeve to support training for big events. And in the group, I might post this question again, because we do have a few, and particularly Shannon, who's coming on in a minute. He's training for big events and has been playing around with how to manage the amount of food you need to meet your energy requirements. So it's all in the timing and working out what you need on the different days of the week, depending on your training regime, supporting your protein, your carbohydrates, and your enough food for your recovery and your rest. So I would say if you are training for a half marathon, I really think you should have someone working pretty closely with you to make sure that you're eating enough food and that it's supporting your requirements. I think it's a big undertaking when you have got a sleeve or a bypass, because you're right, if you're training and running and your energy demands are quite high, there's tricks and things that you can do to actually, pack in some energy if you need it on the days that you're heavy training. So I would suggest if a half marathon or any kind of endurance event is your goal, take it to your dietitian or a nutritionist and get them to work out actually doesn't have to be a meal plan, but it's more about making sure your macros are there, enough protein, enough carbohydrate, and enough nutrition overall to sustain that level of activity. But great, good work, half marathon, it's very impressive. Thank you. Sam Taylor, not sure if I've covered it before, but I'd be interested in how to deal with stalls and what we can do to break them and get back on track. So stalls can be, as you've got less excess weight, your weight loss will be slower. Stall can also be misunderstood for putting on more muscle and not losing as much fat. So muscle, when you're adding muscle to your body, you'll feel the scales aren't your friend at that point, because your composition is changing, and generally muscle weighs, the same quantity of muscle weighs 3 times as much as fat. So if you're putting on muscle, you might still be losing fat, but your weight won't be changing. So stalling, you really need to make sure you are stalling. I would check your body composition first and see if it actually is a stall. It also can be a stall because you're not eating enough food. So you might have increased your activity. If you've added muscle to your body, your metabolism will be higher, so your base energy requirement will be higher. And then if you're not eating enough food, particularly for women, you'll go into like a starvation state where everything slows down and body fat loss is not a priority, and that's protecting your reproductive system. So it's working out if it's a stall, and then working out what to do with that as well. So track maybe take a diary of what you're actually eating and your energy expenditure, and take it back to someone who can have a look and make sure it's balanced as well. Thank you. So Stacey's next. I'd really be interested in hearing more about weight loss surgery and the impact of commonly used drugs when we get sick. For example, not taking ibuprofen due to increased risk of ulcers. I'll answer this in I'm actually going to do a podcast on this one. It's a bit more involved and there's a few more questions to answer. But yeah, they're, different. And I would need to also do a bit more research to make sure I'm giving you the right advice. So these kind of questions, if you're ever going to take something that you haven't taken before, always check in with your doctor, and always remind them that you've had the surgery, because sometimes as time goes on, we do forget that, it's in the past, and we need to mention it. For the rest of your life, whenever you consult with somebody, you need to tell them about your surgery, just so that they know what they're working with and can make the right recommendations for you. Thank you. So I will get back to that in the next little while. There'll be a podcast on medications and, contraindications and that sort of stuff, which is a really great topic. Erin Ryan, thank you. I'm not sure if it's been done, but how do we manage many years post-sleeve when you have dysthymic depression disorder impacting nutrition, exercise, and motivation? So that's, again, that mental health picture and working out what's coming first. Is it motivation that we've lost, or are we off balance, and do we need some intervention from a psychological perspective? So it's knowing yourself, I think, getting to know yourself and knowing when things are not feeling right. And always, I think in that case, looking at having someone support you maybe every month or 2 months or whatever, just checking in to see that everything's tracking in the right direction. If there's any medications for depression, also making sure that as your weight changes, if it's going down or going back up, that the dosages are correct, that it's not going to set you off in another direction. So I think that's not a question for me. It's more a question for a someone who knows you very well and who can have a look at you if there's any medications or something to consider. But also eating to support mental health is a big key. So nutrition and protein, B group and protein help to make your neurotransmitters. So making sure they're all on point. Iron deficiency is a huge contributor to depression or anxiety, and so is the B group. So it's making sure that nutritionally you're quite sound, and then if anything does feel like it's, you know, moving in the wrong direction, just making sure that someone's always checking in to balance you, basically. And exercise is a big key to that as well. So yeah, that's a question for either for your doctor or psychologist or psychiatrist, I would say. So looking at revision surgery when it wasn't successful the first time. So Vicky's asking about revision, and we are seeing a little bit of that as things kind of get along in the as time goes by and people's surgeries are you know, longer away. It's contentious, and again, it's individual. So a sleeve might be changed to a bypass if there's reflux or extensive reflux and other complications. And sometimes we talk about a failed sleeve. When anyone's talking revision surgery, I'll also ask them to be quite honest in the way they review what they've been eating and their lifestyle and whether it's conducive to weight loss. And is then the answer more surgery to bring about more weight loss, or is corrective intervention a more beneficial thing to do? So yeah, it's an individual thing again, and it can be that it's a mechanical issue that means that you need another operation to try and abate reflux that could be quite dangerous. But I think a failed sleeve, we need to question what's failing. Is it the tool or is it the handyman? So it's, you know, having a look and some introspection at what's going on there. So they also say that the weight loss the second time from a second surgery is not as radical. So then you have to question, could you get that same weight loss if you really put your head down and changed the lifestyle factors and worked with the current tool that you've got? Thank you. One more question. There was a lot this week, and I'll just answer anything I haven't. I'll just write them down. Catherine Beale is asking, I'm taking BN multis, but not regularly enough. And I've ordered some calcium, but I vaguely recall reading that you shouldn't take them at the same time. You can take our calcium at the same time. You can take a dose of up to about 500 micrograms of calcium at the same time as your multivitamin. It is competitive with iron at a higher dose. So if you're taking 1,000 milligrams of calcium, I wouldn't suggest you take that with your multi. But the BN chewable calcium is designed so that you can stagger it throughout the day and take it alongside anything else as well. But always get the dosage off your dietitian. And I think that's the last question. I'll do the rest. It's been great. I haven't had a response like this in a couple of weeks, so I've got some homework to do, which is fine, but we've just got a bit to get through. So second is winners of the game from the green game. Name some green vegetables starting with A. Tanya Pregnall was first. Apple, avocado, asparagus, artichoke. And I was impressed to see everyone come up with arugula. And that's not what we generally call zucchini, but good on you. So Tanya is a winner. Please email us at support@bnmulti.com and we'll get your prize out to you. And also Deb Molly Cottle, asparagus, apple, arugula, artichoke, avocado. Say that 5 times quickly. And also Lorraine's got a zucchini, a cucumber, a broccoli. Just kidding. So I like that. It's pretty inventive. So please, if I called your name, send us an email and let us know that you've won the prize for the green game. And also we'll talk about blue foods. So this week is blue, which is very similar to purple. Lots of resveratrol. And no, you can't drink red wine all week and say that you had your resveratrol. you need to have some blue and some purple. So generally the blues and the purples are the same kind of range. Huge for type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, liver detoxification, cardiovascular health, strengthening the vessels of your cardiovascular system. So I'll put an article in the comments. I'm rushing through because I've got Shannon that I want to share with you, and I'm sure he wants to share with us. So I'll post an article that's great around the blue foods, and thank you all for contributing for Transformation Tuesday. We'll also pick some winners. We just need to sift through the many responses, and yeah, you're doing a great job, and I think it's so inspiring for everybody to see what's possible, and just to see the transformations. It's brilliant, and keep up the good work. So this, I just need to find Shannon so I can bring him into the group. Hang on a minute. I wonder if it's up here. No. Give me 2 seconds. I've got this little tiny window here, and it had room to invite Shannon. I think I found it. Yes, yes. Are you ready? I've got Shannon Taylor waiting in the wings, and we recorded a podcast last weekend too, so it's a bit of a feature at the moment, but he's had 2 lots of different stories to tell, and I wanted to share it with the group just to see, you know, it's pretty exciting. So without further ado, welcome Shannon Taylor. Oh, look, this is the first time I've used the live. Shannon, are you there?
Yes.
I've got IA. Now, can you show me your camera?
See me? All right, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can't see you.
There we go.
There you are.
Hey,
Welcome.
Jacqui, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It's wonderful to have you here.
No, thank you for having me.
Is there any delay? Can you hear me okay? Yeah,
no, I can now. It was a bit confusing because the one on Facebook I was watching was a little bit off. So I was like, what? Oh, where am I?
No, I was a bit the same. The whole time I was talking, I was trying to find like where to let you in from the waiting room onto the page. So glad I found it. So welcome. And we've got this short little moment of time to share a story or two. And I think what we want to talk about is your next mission.
My next mission. Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Is it?
Definitely an interesting one. Yeah. So I decided one night that it would be a good idea to ride 6,000 kilometers across Australia. Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. And which night was that? Was it recently or how long ago?
It was actually when this doesn't help my case. I get called crazy all the time. And every time I tell this story, people are like, yeah, you need to get that checked on. So I decided to run a marathon from midnight, where I ran 5Ks every hour from midnight until 7 in the morning. And on the third 5K, I was like, I need to start traveling. You know, I need to. And then I was like, why don't I just ride across Australia?
Why not?
I woke up the next day and I was like, I'd had to make sure I wasn't losing the plot, you know, being 3 o'clock in the morning. Still questionable, I might have, but, you know, I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. And so talk me through who's helping you, when are you leaving, what's next?
So I've got so I'm hopefully leaving on the 3rd of October is my planned date as of now. But that really depends on Victoria's borders, if they can be boys and girls down there, because obviously if that's not open, it'll cut a few, probably about a week or so off my trip. So I'll just be leaving a little bit later. Yeah. I'm soloing, so I'm going by myself until Adelaide. And I'll be staying at a few friends' houses along the way and camping and all sorts of stuff, which is
wow. Have you checked ahead for comfy beds?
Yeah, no. I kind of I said that I'm not a camper. Like I've camped like 3 times in my life, and every time it's been terrible, and I've never slept well. So I'm like, I think that's going to be the challenge.
Yeah, sleep. Yeah. Although, how far are you riding each day?
Minimum of 100K. So I think the shortest day is 106 kilometers and the longest day is 160. And then across the Nullarbor, because I'll have my mum from Adelaide across to Bustleton, and she's going to be in a camper van. So it means I can pull bigger days across the Nullarbor. So I can actually do like over 200
pull up. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And so are you raising money for anything? Are you raising awareness? What's the whole purpose?
Yeah, so we actually looked into it because I obviously wanted to raise money for a charity, but there was no charity that really suited exactly what I was wanting to get out there. Like, because obviously having weight loss surgery, it's something, breaking the stigma has always been a big thing for me. And weight loss surgery in general and the mental health side of things is kind of where the avenue I was going. So we're actually in the process of, I just sat down with an accountant and we're putting together a non-for-profit charity, which is kind of like, on Instagram, we have a great community where we organize meetups and, I'm sure it gets shared across to Facebook as well. But I almost want to do what we do over there where we have these meetups and we get together and, have that support network on a more broad range. So it's open to everyone. And that's what we want the non-for-profit to be. Because the mental side, is honestly the biggest part of this whole thing. Because, if you get your mind on the right path, the rest just falls into place.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. And so talking about that, and we did cover it in our quick podcast we did as well. What's your takeaway message from your journey? I mean, you started not that long ago and you've transformed from, you were saying I had to hold my breath when I was tying my shoelaces up to now riding across Australia. Yeah. So, what inspired you? What changed your mindset?
I think it was one of those things. I like the start of my process obviously wasn't ideal. I went through a marriage separation and stuff like that. So I kind of had this fresh slate to kind of just, make it what I wanted to. And, I kind of went through the whole process because I had lost weight naturally like 5 times and just always put it back on. And I went through the process of like, why did I keep putting it back on? And it was honestly because I expected change, but I wasn't willing to change.
Right.
So this time around, I really made an effort to just break myself down, understand myself, understand where my passions lay, because I put so much emphasis on certain aspects of my life that I realize now aren't a huge value for me. And I was putting a lot of effort into that and neglecting other things that are important to me now, and things that I enjoy. So
yeah. So value system, do you think, or just learned behaviors we grow up with and just reassessing kind of who we think we are as a result of all of that kind of conditioning as we're growing up?
Yeah, like I talk about it all the time and like, socially accepted things, so society says we should be a certain way. And I very much took that as gospel and that's how I lived my life. But I realized I don't really fit into those lines that society was setting up. And, that was honestly just going through the processes of just trying things that I'd tried before. And I used to take the mickey out of people that ran. Like I used to be like, why would you run? Like, what a pointless thing.
What are you running from?
What a waste of energy. Like, chill out, mate. And now I'm like, now I understand. So, yeah.
Yeah, different excitement, I think. And, and I know from, just needing that excitement of channeling that need for, maybe it's chaotic or unpredictable or whatever, but channeling that energy into something that's positive and can, build health rather than, adding to yourself rather than taking away. So how do we get involved with support for your bike ride?
Well, at the moment, we do have, I was lucky enough that a few amazing women organized a GoFundMe for me when I had my accident.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use that GoFundMe as kind of a way for the non-for-profit, and set that up and get it running and get the wheels in motion on that side of things. So there is a GoFundMe set up, but I am, currently working to try and get a different system set up so it's a little bit more streamlined and it's more friendly towards people who donate and stuff like that. So, but at the moment, there is a link in my Instagram bio.
Yeah, great.
And
we've shared it on our newsletter and in our group in the past. So we'll put it in the comments here and if anybody wants to get involved. And also another thing, you're looking for company along the way, I believe.
Yeah. So that's a big thing with the trip across Australia is, I always talk to people about their hard. And, for me, once upon a time, it was tying my shoes without holding my breath. And it's just gradually progressed along. And that's what I'm trying to say to people. You may look at me now and be like, oh, it's easy for him to say, he runs for fun. But that's the whole thing. It's like, you got to start somewhere. And if you're just willing to push that hard. So my whole thing is I want to get people to, whether it's for a kilometer, or whether it's just coming, because I am going to try and organize a little walking or like meetups as well along the way, just to get people out and join in and be part of it. Because it's all about just pushing your hard today, and that hard constantly evolves. So.
Yeah, it's always evolving, isn't it? And I think it's all about that, is just how can I challenge that and break through something that's even from, 4-minute walk to a 7-minute walk, or from a 5K run to a 10K run.
Exactly,
it's just always asking the question, have I got a little bit more here? And looking for that support. I'm very excited for you. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm like it's getting closer now, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, but that's good. I like nerves, because nerves means I'm doing something that's uncomfortable for myself.
Exactly. Like, challenge yourself every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Have you got anything else you want to add?
No. No, just get out there and smash your day today. This is all about every day just getting out there and enjoying your day and learning a little bit something about yourself. It's important. And I just love seeing everyone's progress, and obviously keep it up, keep smashing it.
Amazing recovery from that last little spill and straight back on the bike. That was incredible.
Yeah. Oh, that just cut out. I lost you for a second there.
Yeah, I've got a little sign up here saying I'm a bit unstable.
No, I like it. It went quiet, and I was like, I think I lost you, Jacqui.
We're all a little bit unstable this time of the week.
Yeah, that's all right.
Well, thank you so much. No. And everyone should stay tuned for the podcast. We'll have that up towards the end of the week, where we actually delve a bit more deeply into Shannon's story to begin with, and then talk about this amazing trip that's ahead. So we're right there behind you, and thanks for your time so much.
Perfect. Thanks, Jacqui. I appreciate it.
Okay, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. So thanks, team. Shannon, I don't know how to take you off.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'll work it out. Stop video.
Stop video. Yeah, bye. That was a bit of fun. And, you didn't have to put up with me for the whole time. So that's even better. So that's the example. Shannon had his surgery. He was about 170 kilograms, and now he's riding around Australia. And it's not to say that should be everybody's normal, but it's, it's just an example of what could be possible. So follow his story. We'll have links in our group. We also have links to the 5K Your Way, which Shannon's been a bit of a part of over the COVID period. And it's 5 kilometers of anything in 2 days over a weekend, and it's part of a challenge that you can get involved in as well. So we'll share the links to there. I think I've covered everything. So thanks for joining us, and until next time, we'll have special guests on from time to time throughout our lives, and so glad that you're all here. Thanks. Have a wonderful week. Bye.